Welcome World War II gamers to John Tiller Software Panzer Battles. During this video I'll introduce you to Panzer Battles via the free demo which is available at johntillersoftware.com Panzer Battles demo.html. Panzer Battles is a single player versus AI or two player hot seat play by email or network play game that features a hex scale of 250 meters and a turn cycle of 30 minutes using the I go you go method. It is recommended that players new to the series start with the getting started scenario and follow the directions in the provided started.pdf file. The mechanics of playing the game are quite easy, and in no time at all you'll be able to move and engage in combat on the Panzer Battles battlefield. Currently there are three Panzer Battles modules: Kursk, Southern Flank, Normandy, and North Africa 1941. See the John Tiller site for more information. In recent times, the Panzer Campaign series has had updated graphics, and soon the updated graphics will be coming to the Panzer Battles series, first via a new game called Panzer Battles Moscow. Details of this are available on the War Game Design Studio website. The image above is from the Panzer Battles Moscow pre-release. No date has been set for the release, but we're all hoping that it'll be in 2021. To give you a taste of Panzer Battles play, I'm going to use the Silversky bridgehead scenario from the demo, which features a battle in Estonia on the 13th of February 1944. There are many scenarios provided with the demo in a number of theatres. As well as the getting started scenario I mentioned earlier, there are scenarios from Belgium in 1940, Libya in 41, Ukraine in 41 and in 43, the Solomon Islands, the famous Monte Cassino campaign in 44. But today we're going to have a go at the Silversky bridgehead scenario that I mentioned earlier on. We can play it in normal mode, that is single player versus the AI, direct play, or play by email, or the two-player hot seat. I think for the purpose of today's exercise we'll have a look at the two-player hot seat. The optional rules dialogue, these can vary depending on your tastes and the scenario's designer's goal. We'll take the default options. So in this case we're ready for the Allied player. Smoke available 6 rounds. So in the briefing, the Soviet units, which are on the screen at the moment, are breaking across the Narva River to the western bank. At the moment there are no German units spotted, but the key point that we have to take is the 50-pointer just here. So we can go info, objectives. There's only the one objective on the map, which is our 50-pointer. Also you have the victory conditions, or the victory dialogue. At the start of play, of course, the Soviets or the Allies are suffering a major defeat. And obviously as the battle progresses through kill points and perhaps taking the key objective, we'll hopefully gain 26 points to avoid defeat, or the Soviet player to avoid defeat. Well, from the German perspective, we'll stop the Allies from getting 50 points. Personally, I prefer the NATO counters, but there are 3 sets which can be adjusted in the settings menu. Turn NATO off and you get the traditional graphic view, or if you go to settings and select Alt Unit Graphics, you get a top-down view. So currently I have this rifle or infantry unit selected. Notice the red flashing box. In the top left you're given details about this unit. So this is the 4th Platoon, 1st Company, 1254th Rifle Regiment, and it has 40 men, morale C, movement 24. Below this is details of the hex it is located in, shallow water, elevation 0 meters, visibility 8. So elevation affects visibility. Right clicking on the unit icon gives you its details, hard, combat factor of 2 at a range of 1, and etc. for the other details. Below this it gives you its stacking or value in that hex, which is 40. To activate the unit, you need to left mouse button and you get the yellow box around it. An important concept in Panzer Battles, or in fact the John Tiller series, is that of visibility. So by selecting our rifle unit we mentioned previously and selecting V, these are all the hexes that this unit can see towards. So they can see this forest hex, for instance, but they cannot tell if there is a unit in it unless that enemy unit moves or fires. Obviously in this scenario the crossing is extremely important for us, so we need to make sure that area is defended. If we wanted to get a possible view from the enemy position, let's speculate there's an enemy unit in one of these 2 positions here. Now these are the different lines of fire that they could have. So obviously this one here would be the most dangerous. Clearly it has a view over our crossing area. Now for some people the yellow highlight might be a bit intrusive. You can go Settings, Hex Highlights and Hex Shading. Now hopefully you can see on the screen there, but the area where this hex here can see is a lighter shade than the ones that it cannot. So that is certainly an option. I prefer the hex highlights, hex outline. I think from a gaming perspective it makes more sense, but once again it's just personal preference. So what we could do is select this unit here, activate the unit, and we'll move it forward 1 hex. Okay, blat. So we have identified the fact that there is a unit in that hex. So what we would want to do now is to try and give some protection for our units that will be crossing the Narva River. Also understand that the Narva River, shallow, that's plus 10%. So to accentuate the fact that the troops are very exposed, the attack factors have 10% added because of the fact there's no cover out there on the ice. So what we could do to assist our units in crossing is select our mortar here, select Control B or use the gun icon, select the mortar that has a hex we might be interested in and select smoke. So which hex should we drop smoke in via a right mouse button click? We could, any one of these hexes here, we could have a go. We could drop some smoke onto our own unit. I'm not sure if I'd be too thrilled with that, but let's have a go at that. Okay, good. And the smoke symbol comes up. Now if we select this unit, right, you can see that it no longer can see up to this part here. So these units here we can move across to the left and try and get them across, and in the meantime we'll try and attack this unit to try and neutralize him. It's obviously an important unit to get rid of. So if we go that one again, go normal fire, whoops, select the mortar and so with our next one I'm going to maybe should I put a smoke hex smoke one in there? Good question. For the argument we'll put a smoke round in there. So right click, bang, another smoke one comes up. Now this is quite interesting because putting a smoke round in there means now we can't fire normal rounds into that hex because we can't see through the smoke we've just fired. So okay, so we'll save that round, hit OK, select that artillery unit again, and notice now that you cannot see any of the hexes where our river crossing is taking place. So we'll select V to deselect the visibility option. This guy will select, control right mouse button, so he gets some return fire. Notice that this hill has the contour lines around it, so that means it is at an elevation of 10 meters and the surrounding elevation is 0 meters. So by moving this chap up onto the hill, okay, so hit V again just to confirm the fact that this chap here can see the M machine gun in this hex because the machine gun fired. If the machine gun did not fire, we could see that hex but not necessarily in towards it. Now this guy, by firing at us, has revealed his position to us as well. So these are important concepts of how visibility works in the game. We'll just focus our attention over here for the moment. So what I want to do is grab this unit here he's safely to there. From here we could either move into this hex here. He should be out of the line of sight of the artillery units. That might be the safest bet at this stage, so we'll move him to there. And then the plan will be to eventually move him into this square here and hopefully do an assault on these guns. So we'll move these chaps across. So they can only move one hex at a time, so it's a bit of a nervous ordeal for these chaps crossing the river. So we'll select one of the chaps here and activate him. Notice how he goes, he pops up highlight with the yellow box around him, and then we'll select Q, which is the organisational button. Right, so he says he's in the same organisation as these guys, and then if we go Control Q, in fact I've pressed that twice then, you'll see it then highlights the entire organisation. So all these units belong to this chap here, who is the one on top. So there it is, Headquarters, 1st Company, 1254th Rifle Regiment. So nothing for it, we need our fearless leader to come with us. So I think we should risk getting him across the drink. So he can't go on the drink just yet. Okay, this chap here is an anti-tank gun. So with our anti-tank gun we right click and we see he has a range of 6 against soft, so that sounds pretty good. So if we hit this maximum range icon or X, sadly for our anti-tank gun he can't quite make it to the other side. So we may have to commit him to waiting. So we hit T for transport, or we use the trident icon. And we risk sending him across the drink, across the Narva River. So this is the max range for the mortar, 27 76mm IG battery, range of 30, 9 against soft and 3 against hard. So we'll take off the max range, which is X or the icon. Now if we press V, these are the visible hexes you can see at the moment. Right, so unfortunately he cannot see any bad guys. Right, so this guy here, might as well move them forward I think. That's the mortar that fired the smoke rounds for us, and one of the shells into here. And that about ends our activity with the 1254th Rifle Regiment, 1st Company. Which is that chap there, Headquarters. So with this other group here, we'll advance them towards this hill. You may be able to see the contour around it. Just turn that off. So far no contact. This chap here, he's in obstacles. It's an allied obstacle. Note that our obstacles only stop the units from moving any further in that turn. So it's not like a permanent obstacle, although they can be disposed of with engineers. Any of our units can move through them, but they pay the penalty of losing the remainder of their movement points for that particular turn or 20-minute block. So with this guy, we might move him up here to investigate what's in this hill, if anything. So right click. Alright, so we haven't found, oops. Oh, that's interesting. By right clicking in that hex there, it gave me the unit does not have enough movement points to assault. So that's very interesting because although we have visibility into that hex, as I mentioned, if there was an enemy unit in that hex, we wouldn't be able to necessarily see him unless he fires or moves. So if we right click into this hex, we don't get that message. Right click into this hex, we don't get that message. So inadvertently we've actually got some intel there, and although we are in the hex next to it, so we're in this hex here, we cannot see it at this stage. So that's something a bit different, I think, from Panzer campaigns. Generally when you move adjacent in Panzer campaigns, you can see the units in the adjacent hex, but in Panzer Battles it still doesn't guarantee that you'll actually see the units. So that's the Z key to toggle those on and off. Fair enough. So these chaps here, as you can see, they are on a secondary road. So we can select, for instance, the rifle regiment guy, put him into transport mode, and he will be able to move using the road. If you're not in transport mode, you have to move using the forest rate, or whatever the hex happens to be. Do we move? He's down to 3. I don't think you can. You cannot move any further up. Right, so that's good. We'll move our machine guns up by the same mode. 1, 2, 3. We'll also move our headquarters up. We'll put him in transport mode as well. And take him out of transport mode. This rifle, so this will be the 4th platoon, I presume. So we'll select him. Now this chap has the mortar, so we'll put him in transport mode as well. And the horses gallop away. And the same for our gun. As you can see, the visibility is just the immediate adjacent hex, so no sense leaving him there. Might as well move him up with the rest. This guy here is disrupted and low ammo. Q, control Q, and he belongs to this outfit, so he's next to his headquarters. So that'll be advantageous to get him out of disruption in the next turn. The closer you are to your headquarters, the greater the chance the unit can get out of disruption or have the leadership benefits. So in fact we move him in with the unit with the headquarters, so that'll give him the best possible chance of coming out of disruption. You may be able to see the obstacles in that hex there. So here we have a self-propelled artillery unit, which we will move down the road. We'll put him in transport. And we'll support these guys just clearing out this hill here. He's in yellow at the moment. V. His visibility is not too good. His range is 12 hexes. So the advantage there is that we'll be able to see across the Narva down south here, and I expect the German replacements to come from that direction. Actually, oh, we just bumped into some mines. Okay, so we pay a little penalty there for mines. And because we're now red, we cannot move out of transport mode to deployed mode. So, and also we haven't got any engineers down this part of the world, so we cannot defuse those mines. Okay. So with my single SP gun there, I'm going to take a chance and move him across the Narva. And I will overwatch him with this chap. Notice that this Allied improved position has shell holes in it. Now, when you see those, that either means one of two things. They could be our shell holes when we advanced into this position, or it could be the German side's shell holes shelling that. So we don't really know at this stage, but generally speaking it's not somewhere you go towards. But I will... Oh, I can't move in there anyway. Oh, I've put him in transport. No, I'll leave him in... I'll leave him in deployed mode. So if we go V... Okay, so he can only see up to the bank. This guy, he can only see up to the bank as well, so he cannot see, for instance, into these hexes or to this one on the hill, which would be nice. So it's good to always check your visibility. So this chap here is disrupted. Control Q. He might belong over there, I think. Q, 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 and he belongs to those three. Righty-o, so with him, we'll try and get him with his mates. Now, this guy currently cannot see this unit here, so we're going to try and move him forward 1 hex by right clicking. Right, he can see him now. And of course the cost for that is that he could see us. We go V. Okay, so the headquarters unit can see those hexes. If we move him to there, he'll see those hexes. If we move him to there, he'll only see those. Okay, so if the headquarters can get to there, I'm hoping maybe he could spot. So we'll grab our headquarters unit. We'll put him to there. And he can't move there yet. Right. Okay, fair enough. With our ATR, now we'll click on that hex there. Notice that this hex now can see this road, so we're going to presume having that ATR overwatching the road might be a good idea, so we'll put him in there. We have an Su-76. We'll stick him there. I'm wondering if I should move my Su-76 up to here, maybe to there to possibly have a pot shot. Or do I move him there to overwatch? Okay, well let's put him in the overwatch spot. Oh, he can't move, okay. They move one hex, of course. And this chap here, we'll get him to reconnaissance down towards this way. Take us a while. This gun's moving across, so we'll splash him across. And we might as well push this guy into the drink as well, I think. And we'll leave him there for the moment. 2 and 4 guns. Okay, we'll see if we can get a gun across. Okay, so he's in the drink. We've got everyone else moved that we can move. We can't get any more rounds onto our... So these guys here, these 3 chaps in fact, are high priority targets. So machine guns and mortars, artillery, always #1 priority target. So that ends our turn as the Russians. So let's end our turn, next turn. So we're ready for the Axis player. We hit OK. Okay, we'll say yes so we can see what the Axis player saw during the Allied turn. Right, so note that our units crossing the Narva here, or I should say the Soviet units crossing the Narva here have been protected by the smoke, so the artillery units here can't have a go at them. As we suspected over here, there was a unit in that hex. He can see the rifle unit. 2 guns, morale B. Now he's much better against hard targets at 12 with a 3 hex range, or against soft 2 at 4. So what we will try and do here is move our AT gun away from the infantry. That's our mortal enemy for guns, is anti-tank guns, is infantry. So we'll have a look at the lie of the land underneath. Now you may remember that that was a Z, wasn't it? Z, yeah. So we'll hit the Z key. Right. So he's in a forest hex. We want to move to the road hex there. So we move him down 1. And that's all we can move, is the 1 hex. Now we are surrendering this improved position here, but I don't think our ATG gun would fare very well against the infantry company. So best to get him out of the way. Now we've also moved into this hex here, which has the engineers in it. We can say command to top of stack, and he's now on top. So we need to think What's his visibility? Right, so we can see that hex down there, which is pretty good. See the hex there. We have the minor advantage of knowing that that SU-76 is trundling along here, and some mines in there somewhere. Interestingly, we can't see them. Oh no, there they are there. Very difficult to see, but there are some mines in that particular hex. So for the purpose, we could either have our engineer build up a position. Okay, so how about we try with our engineer? We'll click him there. We'll find our spade and we'll tell him to dig in. Oh, it's not saying digging in. Command. Toggle digging in, Control D. Okay. Maybe forests 20%, perhaps you can't dig in. So we'll leave those two together so the engineers can help defend the anti-tank gun, which could be pretty important. Down here we have a machine gunner who is disrupted. So obviously if we can get him back up and firing, and from that hex there, he could cause some damage to those units that are crossing. So we'll select him, we'll move him into there. So that's all we can do down there. So moving up here, okay, here's our supply base up there. It's protected by obstacles from that side. Oh, these units are fixed. So this padlock hex says fixed units. So these units can't move. Right, so we select this guy here. Right, so they can observe the obstacles there. The trench. Interesting point with obstacles. The best obstacles are those which are observed by your friendly fire, so that if the enemy units do come up that way, they have to stop in the hex, giving you an ideal target. So something to think about when you're setting any obstacles, or have obstacles on the map and you can move your units around. So this guy here can only see to there. I wonder if you can only see one hex down there. Right, so this guy here is sort of keeping an eye on anyone approaching around this way to see that engineer there. So we'll leave him there. So these guys are fixed. A machine gun, right, so we can have a pot shot. So we select this chap and he is, against soft, he's 12 at 6 hexes. An interesting feature of Panzer Battles is the further away the target is, the hit rate diminishes. And there is a formula for that which I could show you at some stage. I may even bring it up on this video when I get around to making the video. So let's control. Now that may or may not have been a good idea because we've given away our position. Select our guns, so we can do it by the artillery dialogue. So we can spot the ATR, so I think he's going to be... Well, is the ATR more of a problem or is it the infantry? Okay, let's have a go at this. We know this guy's disrupted because he's got the little yellow D down there. So disruption is the name of the game, and this guy's closest to us. And okay, right, so I think we might as well have a go at, yep, this guy again. So moving further down the map, turn the V off. Righty, oh, so we've got a Pioneer unit there. Oh, the MG there. I think he can already see him, so if we go V, or is it T for target? If you go T, it'll bring up what units it can shoot or fire at. Right, so this guy here, we'll leave him there for the moment. Now this chap here, we go T. Okay, you can see the guy next to him in the smoke, so we should blat him. Oh, he's fired all his rounds. Okay. Select this chap here. There we go. So we can see the guy over there. So we might as well blat him. Rightio. So our guys coming up as replacements. Wow. Artillery. So their maximum range is to there. But they can't spot. So we go V. Okay. So we're in transport mode. Oh, we can't move. We don't have enough movement points to move into that hex. Okay, so we'll move to there. It's going to be pretty exposed out there, but for the purpose of the exercise, we'll take him out of transport. What can he see? Right, so he can see those hexes out there. That's pretty good. Grab this one. I wonder if I should try move him up there. Okay. I'll keep him there and I'll try and move him into that hex next turn, I think. And these guys here, right, so they're going to be pretty important, I think. And this is another source of German supply. Only got 3 left. So we would like to get our infantry up here so we can have a go at these Russian units attacking our artillery. Right, so that's the end of the turn. No artillery, no airplanes. Next turn. Ready for allied player. We can say yes. So we have 4 smoke rounds available. He is isolated, so that's very interesting. Okay, so there you go. That is Panzer Battles. Gives you lots of interesting little puzzles to solve. Mechanically, it's not that difficult. The contours are easy to read the map. So it gives quite a nice gaming experience of the hex style in the 250 meter hex size, 30-minute turn, I go, you go style of game. So I hope you enjoyed the introduction. It's only just a superficial introduction, but I hope it gives you enough interest to download the demo and try it yourself. Very nice little game. Cheers, thanks.